We're back, baby. The charity straw pitch of free throws because they are free. Fisher, Tassopoulos, Snacks Kreider, May 10th, Wednesday, Daily Stripe. Um, I guess I could kick it off. Depressed, disappointed, confused. A lot of emotions I felt yesterday. I feel like I'm in a position that I don't like being in as a fan, and I would love to get your guys' take on it because, quite frankly, and I hate to I don't mean this in a bad way. You guys have been in this position more than I've been in this position, where I'm ready to fire a head coach. Because I've never really.
There.
Yeah, I didn't mean for it to be a jab, but typically, look, I've never been like, all right, fire Bill in football. Baseball, it's like, all right, it really has to go sour for me to really call for like the skipper's head. I'm more like transactionally, more front office. Basketball, I loved,
You're talking about Joe Mazzulla here? Okay.
Yeah, I am talking about him.
Be an objective NBA fan here. Be how you are with every other team besides the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And would you, Josh Fisher, be calling for a coach's head after their first season of coaching when they've never had a head coaching position before? Would you do that?
We've seen that before.
No, I'm not saying we've seen that or haven't seen that. I'm asking you, how do you feel about that? Because typically you are the type of guy that gives a little bit of leeway. So I want to throw that out there.
I would say yes. From what I've seen from this Celtics team and the end of games, starting games. Look, dude, why is Jaylen Brown really? Like, why does he go for 9 to 11 points in the first quarter? And then we pretty much don't see him for the rest of the game. What happens? Why does Jason Tatum start every game 0 of 7 now? Why can't we hold on to a lead?
Well,
why is he not calling timeouts when he should be?
Him not hitting shots isn't Mazzulla.
The Marcus Smart came out and said the offense is random. So now everyone's cued in on it, and we're looking at it and going, you know what? They really don't have much of an offensive game plan. They really don't have much of an adjustment.
You told me the last time we were on that you didn't mind that it was random in the sense, and this is the way that Marcus Smart framed it when he said, yes, he said it was random, but he said it was an offense where guys step up and we look for the open shot, where it's not necessarily like, okay, Tatum has to take 24 shots and Brown has to take 17 and I'm allowed to take 13 a game. Like, it's not like that. It's pass, find the open man, cut. Okay, late in the shot clock, maybe we then rely on Brown or Tatum to break a guy down if they're in the one-on-one situation. If Tatum gets doubled, we attack 4-on-3. Like, their offense is predicated upon making the right basketball play.
It is, and I don't mind that necessarily, but I mind it when it's not working. And it didn't work in game 4, and it didn't work in game 5. And so, but where's your adjustment though? You have Jason Tatum, who in a whole nother animal is supposed to be this esoteric, one of the great Celtics, one of the top scorers in the league, and yet he's having very, yes, he ends up with, good, box score numbers, but he's having very slow starts to game. You have another player in Jaylen Brown who's supposed to be an all NBA level player, who's supposed to be an all-star. He has unbelievable starts to games, yet we're sitting there at the end of games and like, I'm texting our friend Brandon and I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm even on Twitter. I'm not even that big of a tweeter, and I'm like, he has 11 shots, like halfway through the fourth quarter. It should be 18. He's 7 of 11. Like, why does he not have 18 shots? Why is Mazzulla? I get that he's trying to find the open look, but Horford at that point with the open looks is 0 of 7. Brown should have at least 18 shots at that point. You should be working to your scores. If the open shot and the best basketball move is not working and these other guys that you're relying on can't hit, where's your adjustment as a head coach? And there isn't any. And that's why I'm frustrated. And the defense, by the way, which our team is built on, has been lacking severely, and you know that.
100%. I do know that. Yeah, y'all gave up 115 points.
I mean to take it out on you, but I'm pissed.
No, look, Brown and Tatum, I get what you're saying. They combined for 60 points. Okay? That's more than their points per game average in the regular season. Now let me say something about the 76ers. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey combined for 63 points. There's your difference. And it is why basketball is a team sport and not an individual sport. James Harden also had 17. He had 10 plus assists. They are getting more in these important games, crucial playoff games from the other guys. Horford is a guy who we were praising up until last night's game. I mean, he had a goose egg. He had 0 points. That can't happen. You have to have other guys step up, and they just didn't have other guys step up. And I get what you're saying. Like, you want to fall, and if you're going to fall, you want to go down swinging, and you want it to be your two best guys that take the most shots. I get that. And you would rather Tatum and Brown shoot you out of a game than rely on those other guys. But that has been their identity the entire season, and is incredibly difficult after playing 82 regular season games. And at this point, they've played an additional 10 playoff games? Sure. I don't know. I might be wrong on the exact number there.
They're about to be 10.
You build habits, man. You build habits. It's really, really hard to shake those in the flip of a switch.
I get that.
It's the players and the coaches. This is a coach who, like, I get what you're saying, and I think that there have been a lack of adjustments, but it doesn't mean that he can't grow as a coach. It doesn't mean that he's as good of a coach as Ime Udoka. I'm not saying that he is, but it's a major pain point for this team, because there's also the conversation in the background that is, one, Doris Burke, I see, post something today. I guess she said it either last night or this morning. Hey, Jaylen Brown's, he's closed the gap a lot on Jason Tatum. It's kind of hard night in, night out to see who is the best player on this Celtics team. And two, that Jaylen Brown has also been rumored to not be on the Celtics, especially if they get knocked out in the second round. So you have all of those factors that are being included into what's going on with the narrative of this team. But ultimately, you lost on your home court in a game that was a must win. And that's the reality of it. But I don't think that, like, heads have to roll, do they?
I don't know.
I don't. The youngest hire of all time.
What?
Is he the youngest coaching hire of all time?
He was. I think he's up there. I think it's a good question. I remember him. He might be. I don't remember what the headline was at the beginning.
Looks like there's three guys on your roster that are either his age or older than him.
Yeah. Look, he's a young. I'm just saying, like, it's very disheartening to be the higher seed, to be in a position where there is no Milwaukee Bucks. So once again, you don't have to face what many people felt to be, had Milwaukee been healthy last year, they would have knocked this out. We all felt that way. So you don't have to see Milwaukee. Yes, you have to maybe see Jimmy Butler, who's, scorched earth, playing the best basketball. But I'm anticipating, and I could, eat my words in a couple weeks, that clock's going to strike midnight and we're going to see pumpkins soon for that Miami Heat team. I think.
Well, look, I think you could be losing this series to the Heat, right? At least you're losing the series to the Sixers. It's the MVP of this season, and James Harden. Like, it's not like you're losing to an 8 seed. And
I understand.
It's not like the series is over either. I mean, you could go off and win 2 more games. They're both at home, right?
No, one's in Philly. We're going to Philly right now. Philly. So here's my biggest issue. And yes, he's a young coach, and yes, I'm being uncharacteristic, and I'm being a major Bostonian right now. And I'm letting the headlines and the tweets and the conversations with my friends.
It's good for you to get back to your fake roots. It's good.
You also, like, one of these games could have totally flipped the other way. I mean, you lost one game by 1 shot.
That's my point, though. That's like my point, dude, is like, we've had such an issue closing games. We've had such an issue from our best players starting games. It's been the same narrative. It was the same narrative in game 4 and game 5. In game 4, we were lucky to have come back in that game. Game 5, they closed the door on us. Even like when the announcers got a little excited at the end of the game, and Peyton Pritchard with like a minute 50 rips that 3 from the wing. And it's like, if he hits it, we're down 9, bring the starters back in. It's like they had closed the door on us. And they dominated us from tip to finish in that last game. I don't know. Maybe he needs, in an ideal world, if this was 4 years ago and he was young and these guys were young and we were just starting out, and it's like, hey, like, this is our first taste of the playoffs. We haven't made it to the finals. We're trying to get there, and he could be the guy of the future, and we have time for him to marinate with these guys and grow. That's one thing. But like we're saying, Jaylen Brown might be out the door. And like we're saying, you don't know who the best player is on a given night. And I don't disagree with that.
I don't think that this is necessarily his fault, though. Like Toss is saying, like, first-year head coach, like that's rare. And the fact that he is in the playoffs is already something that's awesome for his experience and for him to grow as a coach. But it's also not his fault that Brad Stevens decided to move on from head coaching, and that Ime Udoka had the affair and all those, ridiculous scandals that happened, and he had to be the guy, like he just got thrown into the mix. It's not like something that I'm sure that he was expecting at his age, but he has to take an opportunity. And look, I mean, I think winning a playoff series in general as a first year head coach, being this young, is already a success for him. And I understand that Jaylen Brown might move on, and that you have this young core, but like there were other things that added to it for him to be thrown into the situation that are out of his control.
I understand that. He probably won't get fired. It's just a
He's
very
not gonna get
different.
fired.
But this is a team that went to the finals last year with the first year head coach.
But it was Ime.
Ime is not like this. He's a young guy too.
Ime was not, but he wasn't 34, and he had a lot more. Well, he had more experience as an NBA player himself. Yeah, and he also was under Pop's tutelage for a long time.
Also,
Mazzulla's 34, by the way, Nick. You're right. He is the youngest head coach, except that of all NBA history, he shares that with another head coach this season, Will Hardy, who would have been the guy if he hadn't have gone from Boston to Utah. So, either way, they were going to be having a 34-year-old head coach. Do I think Will Hardy is a better head coach than Joe Mazzulla? We have a small sample size, but I would lean towards Will Hardy. What he did with that Jazz team completely outperformed and outkicked their coverage.
Stink on paper.
Right.
They were bad.
And you're also saying that Ime gets to the finals last year as a first year head coach. Did he win?
No, he didn't win.
Because you're one game away from being in the conference finals, right? And one series away from. I'm sure if you make to the conference finals, you're getting to the finals again. But are you going to win? Does it matter at the end of the day? Getting to the finals versus winning, because I mean that's just a blemish, right? I mean, and we're looking at Ime at his career. I mean, he's been coaching since 2012. He's been playing professionally since 2000, and there's a wealth of playoff experience there as a player and a coach. Not something that Joe Mazzulla's had.
I don't. You guys are all right. I'm just simply saying, looking at this in a vacuum, where our team is right now. This is a team that is expected to win. This is a team that we were up 2-1. The no timeout call at the end of game 4 was a bad move. The lack of adjustment into game 5 shows growing pains. And look, again, he's going to get another shot. I am just very frustrated. I wish he had more experience. I wish he was able to do these things. And I understand what you're saying. It's tough for a team to adjust. And I know we are very basketball, find the best basketball move first. And I get that. To me, though, it's just where this team is at now. And it's unfortunate he wasn't supposed to be in this position. But where this team is at now, it's kind of championship or bust. Or we're looking at Jaylen Brown having to move on. And that disheartens me based off conversations we've had this week of hey, there's really not much out there. There's not a lot of teams that are going to be looking to ship and sell.
But I do think that we don't know. None of that is certain in regards to Jaylen Brown for sure moving on or wanting to move on from the Celtics, because he has also said in interviews, Tatum's my guy, and I could see us playing our entire careers together. So
it has nothing to do with Jason. It has everything. He doesn't hate. He hates the city. He hates the fans, which I don't blame him necessarily for. We're notoriously and it sucks. We've discussed. I think we discussed this in a previous show. It's brutal, and Boston probably has more than most. That certain fans ruin. A 10% of the fans ruin it for the rest of the 90%, and ruin it for the city, ruin it for an organization. And it could be higher in Boston. It could be 20%, 30% even. Yeah, I don't know. But for the real fans who love Jaylen and Jason playing together and want to see them at their best. And yeah, I mean, Jaylen Brown, yes, they combined for 60-something points, but Jaylen Brown, he hasn't had that game of 4. Neither has Jason. They haven't had that 40-plus point game. And look, could they go into Philly? And could I be eating my words with a spoon? I'd be happy to tomorrow night. I'd be happy sitting here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and going, oh my God, both guys went for 30-plus. Smart played excellent defense on Maxey and/or Harden. Derek White proved why he was an all-defensive player. And we're going back to the Garden for Game 7. And you're right, Nick. You bring up probably one of the best points. Philly's got the MVP. They have the best player on the court. And Harden's been unbelievable this series. Sans one game. So, look,
and
it's a lot of pressure.
Has an MVP award.
Yes.
So.
It's a lot of pressure. It's just very frustrating to see some of these
They,
coaching growing pains in a team that should be competitive for an NBA championship.
Sixers might win the whole thing.
They might. I wouldn't be
So
shocked, honestly.
you just might be in the warpath. You never know.
Yeah.
But like you said, 2 more games left. 2 big games tonight. Are the Knicks going home and are the Warriors going home?
Well, I mean, you want to talk about fan bases that turn on you real quick? Go look at Nick's Twitter right now. Not Nicky Snacks' Twitter, but I mean, go look at Nicky Snacks.
But also look at mine too.
Yeah, good content out of there. But go to New York Knicks Twitter right now, and they are so quick to turn on their team. I unfortunately do believe that the Miami Heat are going to close this series out, whether it's tonight or in the next game in Miami. I think I have the most certainty that they will be advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals.
This is not going past 6 games. I'm with you. All that being said, I'm not picking against. I won't pick against the Knicks at the Garden. I know like guys come in there and they play some of their best basketball at the Garden, but I have to have faith that this New York Knicks team can pull it together and get one at home and make this interesting. And there's no shot in how I'm picking against Steph Curry in a win or lose it all type situation at home. I can't.
You're not picking against Steph Curry. That's the issue. Like, it's these other guys. Like, Steph's been great.
AD, it's LeBron. Yeah, Steph's been great,
No,
but
I'm not even talking about the Lakers. I'm talking about the other guys on the Warriors. Like,
I mean,
someone else help him out. Like,
Steph had 31, 10, and 14 last game. They still lost.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't shoot great. He was 40% from the field, but so was LeBron. But my point being is that, yeah, exactly what Nick's the stats point out. He's been epic all playoffs long. Jordan Poole had 0 points. Klay Thompson had 11 points last game. Like, someone step up and help this guy out and make this an interesting series, because this is not the series that I want between LeBron and Steph. I don't want it to be I don't care if the Lakers win. I'm not saying like Steph has to win this series or anything like that, but I would much rather go to 7 and come down to the last game and be incredibly exciting than the Lakers as a team have just walked all over the Warriors and that be the story of this series.
Well, they don't have an answer on offense or defense for Anthony Davis.
And to your point of other guys having to step up for Steph, other guys are stepping up for LeBron. Like Lonnie Walker last game, like where'd that come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'll say this. To my point, though, I know I'm not like the other guys have to step up, and Steph is doing all he can. I still resonate with them as a team. Clay, Draymond, Steph, and their bling. I'm going to ride them at home to not get bounced. And if they do, then you want to talk about Warpath. I'll ride with, we gave our power rankings yesterday, Toss. Nick, we gave our power rankings of teams left in the playoffs, and I said the Lakers might be one. The Lakers come into Golden State, or Nugget. Yeah, that's what Toss said. But to me, though, if the Lakers come into Golden State tonight and they beat that ass and they knock them out in a gentleman's sweep, I'd be hard pressed, and I'll put them at one. And you might get a Jokic. I mean, dude, Jokic was unbelievable last night too. Like he's dangerous, man.
Yeah, understatement of the century right there.
He's lethal.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
the triple double record for centers in the playoffs.
Never made a finals, by the way. So he's even gone that far. Would you guys want to see Embiid versus Jokic? Would that be like an awesome finals for you guys, or would that be slightly underwhelming?
No, I think it would be epic. It definitely wouldn't be underwhelming. I just would hope that like the narrative would, like, I would hope that it was about basketball,
not about cities.
Yeah, but it would be really, really cool.
Or about what? What else were you getting at?
Well, I just don't want like it to become like this like race war. Really,
okay,
like, that's not what it's about. Between those two guys, that's what it wouldn't be about. Like, I think Embiid won the award. It meant so much to him. We saw him celebrate on the court in Philadelphia. That was an awesome moment with Arthur, his son, coming out. But that's where I'm leaning to right now is like, I want to see Jokic and Embiid. I want to see two of the best big men that we have had the pleasure of watching in our lifetimes. And we've seen some incredible big men. We got to watch Tim Duncan. We got to watch Dirk Nowitzki. We got to watch Shaq. We got to watch Dwight Howard when he was prime Dwight in Orlando. Like, we have seen some incredible big men. Pau Gasol, obviously, what he did. Kevin Garnett. Like, we've been spoiled. And the two of these guys plus Giannis, who I know, Josh, for the longest time, when he was first kind of getting to the apex, you were like, he's a center. He's a center. He's essentially Shaq. Like, let's be honest about it. And you're right. Even though, when he plays with Brook Lopez, of course, they're running two big men out there. But these guys and what they do offensively, especially Jokic, with his ability to make others around him better, and especially with Embiid, with his ability to be truly unguardable because he has the innate aspect of, one, being able to get to the free throw line whenever he wants and also hit free throws, which there haven't been a ton of bigs that have hit at the clip that he hits at. Dirk, yes. Jokic, yes. But AD. I would love AD, yeah. I would love to watch those two guys go at it. And I also think the Harden element and then the Jamal Murray comeback story.
Porter Jr. comeback story.
Yeah, he's become, like, narrative-wise, I'm just not enthralled with him. He's a shooter.
How about the Aaron Gordon, Tobias Harris maybe being better than people ever gave him credit for narrative? Yeah, Doc Rivers narrative, Mike Malone narrative.
Michael Malone, Doc Rivers. It would be awesome. But of course, you've got LeBron and AD, so that's just as good of a story if LeBron ends up in the finals as well. And same thing with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I won't harp on this, but I think race has played a small part in the way that Jokic has been portrayed in the media. And I have no problem saying that in my mind. I think what we saw with Perkins was just light shed on him the way that some people feel back in a month ago, 2 months, a month and a half ago. And I'm with you. I hope it's not that. And I hope these guys are just seen from a pure basketball standpoint, because they're both pretty different and they're both equally dominant. But that'd be an awesome finals. One guy who corrected Kendrick Perkins, JJ Redick, when that all went down, he stuck up for just basketball as a whole, has been interviewed for the head coaching position for the Toronto Raptors. Do you want to see Redick do it? Can he do it? Is it a good move on his part?
I would say I don't want to see it.
I'm with you.
Because I think that he has done such an amazing job in the media, and that he has created such a great brand for himself off the court, that I don't want to see that get blemished, and I don't want to see that tarnished, because look, we see it all the time, like guys hop into coaching because they have a wealth of playing experience and then they're just not a good coach, and they go to a situation. I mean, the Raptors are a better situation than most, right? Like,
sure.
I mean, I don't necessarily see them winning anything in the next couple of years, but they could turn it around pretty quickly, I think. But I would rather see him continue to go on the path of being an absolute rock star when it comes to being in the media, and seeing how high he can go there. Because right now, I think he's at the top of the game when it comes to NBA personalities. But can he really get to the point of big sports personalities, and not just talking NBA as well? Getting his own, Colin Cowherd type love, and, Dan Patrick love. Like, I think he's up there already. And I really just don't want to see that tarnished.
Yeah, interestingly, if you think about how much money he could make doing each thing, he could make more money as a media personality than he can as a head coach.
Without a doubt.
So if he goes the coaching route, it, to me, is an indicator that it's something that he's wanted to do for a really, really long time. And he just took a different way of getting there. And it's admirable. It's a really stressful job. I can imagine it's slightly less stressful than having to be a media personality, and the core kind of like work that you have to do is the research, right? Which, of all the people that are out there talking hoops, JJ definitely does the research. I mean, it's whatever he wants. I think he could be a good head coach. I think I would expect he'd take a step back. Like, he wouldn't do like the Draymond situation where he's playing in a playoff series, but he's also like going home and podcasting about it. Maybe.
Well, I don't think you can. I think it's a little different if you're a coach.
Right. Wires get crossed a little bit, and
you lose that. I think like you're saying, it's like, look, if he always wanted to be a head coach, then he'll do this. If this was his dream to become a head coach, and you know what? Like, look where he's played. Look at all he's been on a multitude of teams. He's been with good coaches. He's been with bad coaches. He was coached by what some consider the greatest coach of all time at Duke. So he, maybe more so than anybody, has had a wealth of experience and can take the best and learn from the worst from a lot of guys. But I'm with you, Nick. Like, he's done such a number already in this space, and I don't think he's hit the mountaintop. I think if he could be a head coach now, he could be a head coach in 2 years. He could be a head coach in 3 years. I think what he's built, like, there's no reason he can't be the McAfee of basketball. There's no reason, and he already is close to that. I would say there's no reason.
He's still young. To y'all's point, I will say, like, don't get it twisted. This is not the first coaching position that he has been offered. Like,
No.
He had a seat next to Coach K if he wanted it after he retired from the NBA, no doubt. I mean, look at who Coach K, when he was coaching, surrounded himself with. Shire was on the bench. Nolan Smith was on the bench. Like, that's what they do there. And so I imagine that this isn't the first time he's been approached. Maybe, he just interviewed to see what that was like and to get more information so that he can take it to the podcast. I do think he's opened such a window, and the perspective is so unique coming from him when he talks to NBA players, when he talks about NBA players. He does have more, he hasn't summited yet. There's still more room for him to grow, but I do think he's definitely, like, blazed a trail, and we've already seen it with other guys, like, creating their own content and doing a similar thing that he is doing with his show. So maybe he feels like the space has been opened up and has been put in good hands for it to kind of grow from there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see him step off the desk yet.
Yeah, he's one of the good ones, in my opinion, and I just don't, selfishly, I don't want to see that go away, But football, something that we haven't talked about in a while. There's a bunch of games that have been released, and the full schedule will be released tomorrow. Black Friday game. It's gonna be the Jets versus the Dolphins. First ever Black Friday game. You like it?
A little extended Thanksgiving. Why not?
I mean, they could do whatever they want at this point, and you will get eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
Like, what did we do? What did we talk about last year? Thursday night games stink. The matchups suck. Yet, where are we? Tuned in on
Still
the couch.
watching it.
Yeah, the NFL has this wrapped around their finger.
Because fantasy football, sports betting, they've opened up, betting, with all their partnerships and legalizing gambling in other different states and all the apps at your fingertips. And even, like, not even just the betting aspect, like, on every telecast, they're like, okay, like, go to our app and pick the best thing and, get a chance to win $20,000 and, something like that. I mean, there's always something at stake for you when you're watching a game, no matter who's playing. It doesn't matter if it's, the 0-8 Browns versus the 1-7 Lions in the early 2000s. Like, there's always gonna be something at stake because someone's always gonna have someone on their team for fantasy football, and you could always take action in that game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So the plan will be Best Buy at 5 a.m. Get my TV home to watch the game. Set it up
with the TV. Yeah, you have more than enough.
Were you guys big Black Friday guys growing up?
Hell
no.
I
do love. I
really
appreciate Cyber Monday though. I'm a big Cyber Monday guy.
Were you a Black Friday guy?
Not like religiously, but I've definitely, so like in high school, like we camped out at Cabela's one year because Cabela's in Texas, it's like Bass Pro Shop. They would give away like a gift to like the first, I think, like 200 people that were in line, and the gifts ranged from like a rifle to like gift cards to like to like actually nice gift, and like they would disperse it, but they would keep like the best gifts to like the first like 25 people. So like you get like a pistol, a rifle, like a crossbow, like cool stuff like that. Like I got I think like a $50 gift card for just sitting in line. So that was cool.
And a round of bullets.
Right. But I wasn't door busting at Best Buy or Target or Walmart or anything like that.
No, my
I
parents
did
were
do a
like,
couple. I did do a couple of midnight releases for Call of Duty though. Those are
um,
fun. Camping out with
yeah,
the homies, waiting for it to come on midnight, and then
I
go
think
home and just drink a bunch of Mountain Dew.
I think the only thing I've like waited like late night for or something like that is the Harry Potter books. I'm pretty sure that's the only
me too.
thing.
Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter books, like yeah. It's the only thing I've ever waited like up
I mean,
for
yeah, I've been to
at night.
yeah. There's been other midnight premieres that I've gone to for movies, but that's more so like it's just fun and like people go to movies at night anyway, so I don't think that's that abnormal.
I've never waited online for anything other than like Harry Potter or Top Shot.
We
So
waited in line for Kazunori the other night.
then I mean like waited in line for like an experience or like a thing. For food, yes, I've done Franklin's. We did wait in line for Kazunori the other night, which was actually really fire. I would say but the NFL could do whatever they want. We have 3 games in London. The Jags are playing back-to-back games in London. Kind
I
of
mean, that's
wild.
London's team. That's London's team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they're going to be good. So I think this is massive for once again, like the NFL is winning 2 games.
And
My team's going to Germany.
how long do you think it's going to take for them to be fully in London?
I can't, dude. I don't
I mean,
know.
they're playing 3 games there this season. I mean, not the Jags playing 2 games, but the NFL's playing 3 games there this season. It's not like it's that like out of sight, out of mind. You know, like with how much time is in between each game. You know, you could also factor in bye weeks and stuff like that. The travel is not something that I think you really have to take into account that much. You can get out there a week early. You know, as soon as your game ends on Sunday night, you fly out on Monday, you know, or Sunday night, and you spend the whole week there, both teams. So I don't think it's that inconceivable. I mean, come on, you're talking about Jacksonville, Florida versus London. Like that
No,
is
they sell every game out for sure. I mean, I've never been to Jacksonville. I don't plan on going. Like
it's
I'm
not
with
like
you.
it's not like there's a super rich history of Jacksonville Jaguars football either.
In fact, the opposite. I
Right.
would
Well,
say.
and also, I mean, can't forget this. In 2018, Khan bought Wembley Stadium. He owns that stadium, so it's like it's already there.
Yep.
And
him and his son.
Yeah, he said multiple times that he wants that relationship to be long standing with those fans there and that city there. So it just makes a lot of sense. And whether it becomes like a half and half kind of situation where half's in Jacksonville, second half's in England. I mean, I think it's imminent. Like it's coming soon for sure.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
probably,
they're
they're
opening,
probably 2 weeks.
they're opening the door for Frankfurt, Germany now too, playing 2 games there. I mean, I think you would have to look into more of an expansion realm whenever you get there, because like what teams are going to end up relocating. Like realistically, like what NFL teams could you see relocate? Jags are suspect number 1, but who else is out there to really relocate?
Nobody. Every other fan base is pretty cemented, in my opinion. I would say, like you would have to look at the newer teams. I would say you're not getting rid of Houston. They're stuck. They're stuck. You're not getting rid of Carolina. They're chilling there. Tennessee's cemented. You know, the Colts, like all these other. The Jags are the only team that I feel have struggled, or we've seen struggle, put fans in the seats. We've seen struggle as a franchise so often that is not a deep rooted, like the Lions and the Browns have sucked, but they're just deep rooted franchises. You know, Cleveland's a deep rooted football, at least a deep rooted football city. Like Detroit's a deep rooted football city. So yeah, Jacksonville, they don't have a long rich history, like you're saying. I mean, I think the half and half, like the Londonville Jaguars, if they combine the team names, like the half and half to me is fair. Like a full 8 games at home though is I mean, if they could work that out with bye weeks and scheduling, that'd be crazy. But a full 8 at home would be nuts in London.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just think that it's like Todd said, it's imminent. I mean, if the ultimate goal in the NFL is to make money for these owners, which I'm sure for Shad Khan, like businessman of all businessmen, right? You know, he bought Wembley for a reason. That's by far the most financially lucrative move that you can do. Now, I think the bigger obstacle here is just the league, right? Like it's the NFL, it's the National Football League. You know, it's It's getting every team and every single owner on board to approve the move, of course. You know what I mean? So, like, is every single team going to be like, yeah, okay, let's do it? Or are there going to be some guys that push back because they don't want to travel to London? They want to keep it in the United States. You know, they don't want to go international. So I don't know. I think you really have to provide the like hard evidence that like it's actually good financially for the entire league, which I think it is. You know, making American football world football, and obviously it's not going to ever overtake football, footy, soccer, but you know, I think it's probably a close second now in terms of just like popularity around the world. I think.
I mean,
basketball is pretty international, but
tennis, but like it's as far as like an American dominant sport. Yeah, I mean, they're going to Germany. You know, we could see something in Paris not before long. We could see something in Italy for sure. Yeah, we could see something in Spain, and by and large, yeah, I was going to say
Australian kickers all the time.
Like the NFL has like the best case scenario going forward, in my opinion, right now with the way things have shook out with players, what teams they're on. Like the Chiefs, I would not call Kansas City. Again, they're a rich history in football. Their stadium gets a lot of, it gets loud. There's loyal fans. But when us growing up, I wouldn't say the Chiefs were a team that was heavily considered this is like a premier team. But now they'll be a premier team for the next 10, 15 years.
They had cool players that we liked.
But
they had LJ, they had Jamal,
Dwayne Blow.
Somewhere over the yeah, somewhere over the Dwayne
Blair.
They had Priest Holmes, but like they had quarterbacks of Trent Green and Alex Smith and Brody Croyle and Matt Castle. Like, all right, whatever, Like
I think that all the teams that have relocated so far are the ones. I mean, like that's the last ones besides Jacksonville, because you look at St. Louis going to LA, you look at the Chargers going to LA, you look at Oakland going to Vegas. Like those were the ones that needed stadiums. Those were the ones that needed to kind of get a change of scenery. There's really nothing else left. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's building a new stadium right now. Like they've already approved that. Like they're not moving anywhere.
And their stadium is like, by the way, where it is right now is smack dab in the middle of Nashville. But I'm saying like Chiefs, Bengals, like similar to what you're saying, Toss. Bengals always had cool players, but like you don't think of Cincy as a premier football, like, oh wow, like this is like a team I want to watch every Sunday. Kansas City's not a team I want to watch every Sunday. Now you could slot those teams into prime time in addition to the Cowboys, the Giants, the Jets, where no matter how good or bad they are, you're going to have the fans there.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show how important quarterbacks are. You want to know why they get paid that much? You want to know why they take chances on these guys?
Eyeballs.
Is because you say that about Cincinnati, you say that about Kansas City, but those teams have Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, who a lot of people have as their number one, number two quarterbacks in the NFL. That changes everything. You want to talk about the Jags? Trevor Lawrence. He can change everything. It's such a new franchise. If he is there for 15 years, they could completely rewrite the Jags' history in existence and
1,000%.
Completely turn them in a different trajectory going forward. I do want to mention, we were just talking about like relocating, but the Oakland A's, they finalized that they are going to build a $1.5 billion stadium at the Tropicana Resort and Casino. That's where that is right now, which is on Las Vegas Boulevard. So they are going to be in the mix. Nick, you know the most about Vegas. Have you been to Tropicana before?
I have not, no. There's so many places to go in Vegas that it's like impossible to hit them all.
It's like right down the street from Mandalay Bay.
Sweet.
So it's in the mix.
Look, that's gonna be sick. It's gonna be. There's so much open real estate out there, but yeah, the closer that you put the stadiums and the ballparks to all the action, the better it's gonna be, obviously, because you want fans to stay in the hotels on the Strip and just walk right over, right? Uber right over. I mean, Allegiant is right off the freeway, like right behind, right behind the Strip, all of the hotels and casinos. So it's going to be awesome.
It's right across the street from the MGM Grand. So you can go watch the A's play a night game, and then you can go to Hakkasan and watch Nicky Snacks tear it up at the club 2 years from now.
There you go, Hakkasan. Don't you know what you're talking about, Vegas? You could gamble. Could you gamble in the stadiums? Can you consider
I don't really. I'm sure there's slots in Allegiant. We haven't been there yet. We're gonna go next
go,
year.
yeah, we'll go
Once
this
Super
year,
Bowl
yeah.
is there, we'll take a tour maybe. Because remember, Super Bowl is there next year.
Oh, we don't even have to go this year for like a game. We're just gonna go. Period. That's sick. But yeah, like that's the best case scenario for an Oakland A's franchise. Who the best thing that's happened in the stadium is some guy getting domed in like the bleachers this past year. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember that photo, but yeah,
No,
but
the
that's
best
like
thing that's happened in that stadium is them shooting the movie Moneyball there. Like,
sure,
actually. Like,
sure.
it probably is.
Yeah,
it's
Chris
pathetic.
Chris Pratt.
Well, I think that's a good.
Role.
It's a good set. I think that's a good segue to the game of the day, Toss.
Yeah, we're gonna play another game today. This game is called Actor or Baseball Player. What I am going to do is I'm going to name a name, and it's either going to be an actor or a baseball player. And Nick and Josh, you guys both get to guess which it is. So without further ado, I have 10 names for you guys. We'll get into it, and of course,
we taking turns or.
We'll rotate, we'll alternate. So Nick, you'll guess first on this first one, and then Josh will guess first on the second one, and then I'll just tell you. And we can keep track if you guys want.
So yeah,
but
50,
it's more
50
so.
each.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna kick it
I'm
off.
keeping track.
And just by the way, like the baseball players
competitive.
and the actors, like I did a little bit of research so that I can tell you who they are, because I'm trying to pick names that are somewhat discreet. I guess not discreet, but just not super well known.
Well known.
Okay, first one.
Up and comers.
Potentially. Scott Nicholson. Is he an actor or a baseball player? Nick?
Actor.
Okay, Josh?
Actor.
That is correct. Scott Nicholson is Colin from Succession.
Oh, nice.
Okay, number 2. Jake Cousins. Is he an actor or a baseball player? Josh?
Ball player.
Nick?
Actor.
He is a ball player. He is a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. Number 3, Tyler Gilbert. Is he an actor or a baseball player? Nick?
Oof, God, that sounds like a baseball name, but I'm gonna go actor.
Josh?
Ball player.
He is a baseball player. He's a pitcher for the D-backs.
He knew it already.
Did you know that?
Fantasy baseball.
No, it's not fantasy baseball.
Did you actually know who that was?
No, I didn't know what team he was on, but I know I'd heard the name before in baseball. Yes.
Okay, moving on. Number 4, John Paul Reynolds. Josh?
Don't you try to John Wilkes Booth me right here. I'm going actor.
Nick?
Actor.
He is an actor. He plays Drew in Search Party, and he is also in the most recent season of Yellow Jackets. Fun fact, I auditioned for the role that he got. There you go. your boy John Paul Russell beat me out for it, and he does a fantastic job in the role. Thought you guys would like that one. Okay, moving on. Number 5, Austin Freeman. Nick?
Austin Freeman is a actor.
Josh?
Actor.
He is an actor. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He plays the on-set version of Groot. Dre Jameson. Josh?
Ball player.
Nick?
Baseball player.
That's right. He's another pitcher for the D-backs. Bronson Webb. Nick?
Oh man, I want to say ball player because of Bronson Arroyo, but I'm gonna go actor.
Josh?
I'm also gonna go actor.
He is an actor. That one was a tricky one. Not Bronson Arroyo, Brandon Webb. Just wanted to kind of mix.
Has
those
Josh
two
got
guys
one
in
wrong
there.
yet?
He has not. He plays Jeremy in Ted Lasso. Bronson Webb.
Okay.
Okay. Tommy Malone. Josh.
Ball player.
Nick?
Baseball player.
He is a baseball player. He's a pitcher for the Mariners. He has 1 start this season. Congratulations, Tommy. Tate Donovan. Nick?
Baseball player.
Josh?
Actor, and I believe he's the voice of Hercules.
He is an actor. He's not the voice of Hercules. Well, he could be. He's in Ghost. He's in Ghosted with that new movie with Chris Evans and Ana de Armas, which is like the 5th thing they've been in together. Sydney Sweeney.
I'm
Glenn
almost
Powell vibes
positive.
check.
I'm almost positive he went to USC because I think that's the guy that spoke at the US when I auditioned for USC. I think he spoke.
Yeah, he is. He is the voice of Hercules. Wow, Josh, what a deep bag reference there, buddy.
Got you, bro.
Okay, and the last one, my personal favorite, Chris Davis, actor or baseball
Well,
player.
Is it both?
It is both,
Because-
Nick. Way to go, buddy. He, of course, he's retired now at this point, right?
Which
Former
could,
Athletics.
yeah, multiple.
Exact same spelling, Khris. That's the Chris Davis that I'm talking about, baseball player, athletics guy, of course. And then there's an actor named Chris Davis who is playing George Foreman in the biopic, the big George Foreman that just came out, I think.
I think you only got one wrong, Nick, right?
I got 2 wrong.
You got
No,
Tate
I got
Donovan
3
wrong.
wrong. I got 3 wrong.
You get Tyler Gilbert wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, caught.
Yeah. I thought
Good.
those were some names that
Tough.
were kind of wish-washy, honestly. Like,
Tough.
could have gone either way.
Tough. I took
Josh,
some guesses.
a perfect.
The only
score for
names
you.
I really knew were Tate Donovan for sure and Drew Jameson.
The pitcher for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I knew he.
Yeah, 'cause
I
he's
He,
knew-
actually-
he knew Tyler Gilbert.
I knew Tyler Gilbert. I know that name.
Who is it?
He's a baseball nerd, dude. You can't play these games against me.
Okay, we'll mix it up.
You
I'll
know
pick
a lot
diff-
about baseball too, dude.
I'll pick a different sport next time so we can mix it up so that
Get outta here.
Josh's fantasy knowledge doesn't come into play.
This
Jameson
guy's-
has actually pitched in.
He's
a few
good. No,
games
he's
this
he's
season.
pretty. He's not bad. He's like a prospect. He's like legit.
Yeah,
All
the
right,
other
well,
guys have gotten like
Take
one
football.
start.
Take football next time.
Okay.
Man.
That's what I'll do. But I thought it was a fun one.
So Sour
anything,
Patch
just to-
Watermelon over here doesn't get all pissy about it.
He's not basic. I just want to give some shout outs though to those baseball players, of course, and to those actors. Because a lot of those guys, we know their work and we actually like it a lot. We just don't know what their name is. It's a bunch of that guys.
Yeah, they are. I will say though, in your last game you played, you did accidentally, and I don't mind it going worst to best. And one of the players, Johan Ramirez, commented
Crying, laughing.
crying,
face emoji.
laughing face emoji.
Well, he commented that because he wasn't the first guy named.
He was the
from his
first
team. I
Yeah,
think he was fourth.
He was fourth.
Yeah.
Which, like, look, you're in the pros. You got to know at some point.
Hey, as long as I pronounced his name correctly, which I think I did.
You did across the board. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff there.
Yep.
Good epi as always.
Yalla,
Josh,
yalla,
good luck
yalla.
to your C's tomorrow night, buddy.
We'll see you guys next time. all
That's
right?
me sticking an EpiPen in my chest.
Why?
To come back to life.
Because a good epi.
'Cause
Oh. Okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
Knows
knows a bunch of baseball players, but that one went over his head. See you next time. The charity stripe. Hit your free throws because they free. We out.